Hey, what's up? I'm just trying to make sure I'm getting everything up and running on the live stream. I had some issues getting the broadcast going. Can you just say something? I want to see if the audio is coming in. Ah, damn, hang on. It doesn't seem to be picking that up on my little sound mixer. How's your weekend been? Yeah, it has. Hang on a second. I'm gonna try and add another mic source here. Okay, can you give me some sound? No, I'm not getting. Man, why the heck is that not coming in? This is frustrating that it's kind of different every time. Yeah. Just gonna delete a couple of these. Hey, can you hear us both? Someone's in the chat. I'm just not seeing your sound come up, that's all. Can you hear Mayank? I think it's just got me. Hang on. Alright, bear with me 1 second. Delete a whole bunch of these. Gonna have to fire your producer. This is annoying. Audio engineer, great. Okay, you wanna say something, man?
Yep.
Okay.
Testing.
Alright, I'm seeing your sound coming through. Maybe Roadfly you can see. Can you hear Mayank now?
Can you guys hear me? Hopefully that's working now.
Alright, cool. Thanks for
Alrighty.
confirming that, Roadfly. Sorry about that. Just shambles. We'll try and make this a bit more professional moving forward. Alright, welcome back, everyone. It's been a long holiday. Looking forward to getting back. We've had a bit of normal volatility on Friday, and then looks like we're starting to move again now. So hopefully everyone was able to get into a runner on the Open Sunday evening, if you weren't already from Friday. But we had the small gap up and then the reclaim of 69.05. A little bit choppy on that reclaim, but just follow the rules. Give it some time to hold above, and then critically the stop going below the lowest low. Actually, in this scenario, the lowest low is is a long way down there, down at the 60s. So for me, I was actually just using this 90 as my kind of structural stop on that one. How about you, Mayank? I know you took that trade too.
Yep. So took a rare reclaim there. To be honest, I wasn't interested at first when we just kind of gapped up right at the open
Mm-hmm.
above it. At that point I was kind of like, I'm just gonna hold the runner. But we actually put in some really nice type 2 acceptance, and
Yeah.
I'm sure when Tim outlines it in a trade recap later, he'll mention it, and I'll kind of do a little bit with in writing later this morning.
Good stuff.
But we had some really, really nice Type 2 acceptance there. We gapped up, essentially got up to 69.11 right at the open, and then came back, dipped, went below 69.05, and then we reclaimed it back. And, we kind of, I think, both took it there around 6:15 or so. And then kind of just sat in it. I mean, it did, it was a little choppy at first. It didn't exactly go to 69.13 right away. But I think by, around 8 p.m. or so, we kind of got there, and I took my trim right there. So,
Hmm.
yeah, good example of, a reclaim with acceptance, but, with just a lower vol, you kind of have to just sit and wait in it and, keep your stop below the 68.90 90 low.
Yeah, those ones, I find that type 2 particularly tricky to know when to trigger that entry, but I think as long as you're following that structural stop and you've given it some time, it's not too critical. Um, so yeah, moving into today, then obviously we're trading above all of the planned entries from Adam's newsletter. We're just about to come into this key backtest here at 69.35. So this is kind of the area we'll be looking to see if bulls can really take control here and end this sell the bounce routine that we've been in since just after Christmas. So obviously we're just breaking above this blue trend channel I've got in the 4 hour chart here. And then if we can break above 35 and then 42, I think he had, that's where we actually start to see a market structure shift on the 4 hour. So things will start to look pretty good from a bullish perspective there. So, but what that does mean as far as entries today, there's not anything in the immediate vicinity. I think the first level down and perhaps the new trade idea from the overnight structure is this 13 to 15. I was kind of looking at that in the pre-market, and I was really hoping if we'd swept this 430 low here down at 11 and then recovered the sort of the top of this structure, the top of the evening structure, I would have been interested in adding back to my runners on that one. But we didn't quite get that. We only got down to about 12, or 12 and a half. But still, I think that level's a valid level to engage as a lower quality entry now. But especially since we've pushed what 15, 18 points off of it so far. So there's the 13, and then I think the 905. Maybe looking to engage on the recovery of this 906 would be a potential. And then the key levels below that to watch are going to be a bit more enticing down at 68.90 and then the prior day's low at 68.66. So, but these are quite a ways off now. So looking at this guy. And then the prior day's low. With the prior day's low, Adam was recommend you wait for the reclaim of 72 before engaging. So, how about you, Mayank? I'm
Yeah, I
assuming
think,
it's just
yep,
holding
I
runners
think,
from your side.
yeah, I mean, personally, I would just now hold runners. And my stop is still at the 68.90. So, for me today, personally, it'll be either that or if we get down to the 68.66. However, yeah, I do think if you're not in something, the 69.13 sweep, and as well as, we've built that a little bit of a shelf at 69.05, 69.06. That's also
Mm-hmm.
valid entries as well. Both those are just, some bigger picture context. As you mentioned, we are coming into a huge backtest area here at 69.35. So, if bears want to reject here, this is their shot. And just, be aware. I think the last few sessions and even during the holidays, I noticed we were getting a little bit of this still, which has been a nice little splurge of volatility at the open. So I would watch for that, and if that does happen and we do kind of get an elevator down sell real quickly, just be mindful. No need to rush anything with the longs. Remember, as always, like I know it sounds repetitive, but you just want to make sure you drill it down into your head make sure before entering anything, you can visibly see that there is some sort of acceptance and that you can pinpoint it, right? If you had to explain to someone like, hey, why did you enter? You should be able to pinpoint to being like, look, I see this form of acceptance and that's why I got in. If you're not able to do that, then it's not a valid entry. Um, and if you're not seeing acceptance, then you have to wait for the non-acceptance protocol, which it's not too complicated. It's really just waiting for it to clear that danger zone and it hold for a few minutes. So you're basically what you're watching for there is the price action is so strong from buyers that sellers are essentially getting overrun in that area. So those are two good spots if you're not in something. But I think if you're in something, it's best to wait for a lower and just let the runner run. One of my resolutions for this year for 2026 is going to be less trading, as I think Adam has mentioned, and I think a lot of us want to do. So one of the things I think I'm going to be doing on a tangible front with that is just making sure that I don't take any trades if my runner doesn't trail out. So now that I'm kind of done with one trade on the day for the session, until my runner trails out, I don't want to re-engage in anything. So hopefully that will kind of keep me trading a little bit less. But when I do trade, I'm taking really high quality entries and are able to kind of stack that over and over and over again. So.
Well, so you're not even going to be looking to add to your runners, or not till the next session at least.
Yeah, the next session. So, like
Yeah,
for example, yesterday I technically added to the trade, but obviously that was because it was
yeah.
a new session. But since it's today, unless the runner trails out, I don't want to. And that's essentially what Adam's been doing. Is kind of what I've been noticing. Is he probably now I noticed he didn't take the 6905 trade apparently, but that could be with some of the personal stuff he has going on. But generally, if you notice with the way he's been doing it, is he would just stay in the runner until it trails out for the session once he has that one trade in for the day. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really trying to shoot for that one and done. I know Friday was a little bit interesting because I kind of started off the year taking I think 3 or 4 trades just
Yeah.
because the runner kept trailing out. So we'll see what happens today. Like I said, we've been opening with some good volatility. So and this is definitely a good spot for bears to reject. But as always, we don't predict and we'll just react and see what happens. So yeah, I won't engage in the 6913 or '05, but it's definitely valid if people are flat or are looking to scalp or trade a little bit more. I think those are two fine entries and areas you can watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice to see the price action cleaning up a bit here too in the pre-market. This was kind of a choppy grind up overnight. And when I woke up this morning looking at this, I was like, "Oh, this is all looking a bit ugly." But seeing this kind of more free flowing price action is definitely more enticing.
Hopefully, we
Just
can finally put the holiday PA behind
yeah,
us
yeah,
and start getting into some good PA. I mean, I touched on this earlier, but 2025, man, was a great year for learning in terms of the various type of environments and PA we got. So, here's hoping that 2026 will bring in some really good PA for us as well. With some good daily failed breakdowns, some good learning environments as well. But I think Adam had said this, and I firmly believe it as well. And just in my 5 years of doing this, that I definitely think 2025 was one of the more challenging years because of how often we kept switching environments and different market conditions. So honestly, if you were able to survive last year, I would really give yourself a pat on the back and really look forward to how you can improve for this coming year.
yeah. And that's something just on that note. Something he tweeted, I think, over the weekend. If you're sitting there idle in a runner, great time to just go and back test one day. You've got the previous levels. If someone needs those levels from previous days, I've kind of got them jotted down. I can share, but just take a random day, October, November, whenever. Um, mark the levels and go and see if you can trade it successfully. Um,
Exactly. Basically, get more reps in, right? At the
yeah,
end of the day, you're not going to get good at anything unless you put in the reps, and this is no different. I mean, you're not going to be able to. I know Adam has the daily analogy of like the sports I mean, the sports or instrument, but they are good analogies in the sense of you're not going to become good at anything unless you're just putting in the thousands and thousands of reps. I always like to think of it as like the Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hour rule to be
Hmm.
good, to be elite at anything. So, however you can put your reps, it doesn't have to be in real time. I mean, you could always just go back and back test if you want. So those are definitely good ways to practice. And then yeah, obviously if you can just be at the screens every day or most days and are able to practice in live time, that'll help you as well.
Okay, final thing I'll leave you with is there is ISM manufacturing the PMI data at 10 a.m. So half an hour after the open, that might introduce some volatility. But with that, we'll catch you in the Discord and be safe out there, everyone. Thanks.